Parts are polarized when they're battling to determine how a person feels or behaves in a certain situation. So when they're polarized, obviously that means that they're at opposite poles. Each part believes it must act in such a way as to counter the extreme behavior of the other, or of the other parts. Okay, so that's polarization. Alliance is where the parts are allied if they're working together to accomplish the same aim. So what you want to have is a harmonious interaction between the parts where they're allied and not polarized. And that comes through the leadership of the true self. The true self is a natural leader of the internal system. But because of harmful incidents or relationships in the past, protectors have stepped in to protect the system and take over for the self. So one protector after another over time is activated and takes over the system, which causes, in the end, maladaptive behavior. These protectors also frequently are in conflict with each other, which result in internal chaos, internal conflict, or stagnation. Okay, so the goal of IFS is for the protector parts to come to trust the self, the true self, so that they will allow the true self to heal the system and create harmony under its guidance. And this is what I'd call integration. And integration of the parts through the leadership of the true self leads to that natural ease in life and to that deeper sense of fulfillment in life. Okay, so some of these parts are quite primordial or archetypal. That is, that they're in common just as part of being human, and they might even be part of your DNA. In fact, our DNA evolved some of these parts, and this is the Jungian thesis, Carl Jung. But whatever it is, there are very common parts, and they come online at various parts of your life, various points of your life, most often in relation or in response to some perceived trauma. So the true self is, the key to harmony is the true self taking charge. The first step of that is liberating the exiles. Okay, so the key factor here is compassion for the self. These internal managers are obsessed with power, and these are usually created as defenses against feeling helpless and hopeless. For example, they might think, if you criticize others, they don't dare hurt you. So you have this part that follows this dictum and is constantly criticizing other people, blaming others. Or they might have grown up with this principle of, if you are perfect, nobody can criticize you. And again, that's like your perfectionist part. That is, in that case, it's protecting the self-system, and especially the exiles, from getting criticized. Okay, so in order to liberate the exiles, you need to unburden the parts that are protecting the exile. So after the initial emergence of these parts, you have to revisit the exiled parts from time to time to make sure they're supported and cared for. And so you unburden the parts so that they will rest and relax and trust the therapist standing in as a true self, or even better, your true self now getting experience leading. And then you unburden the exiles from the toxic trauma that they've been carrying since whenever that perceived trauma occurred. So the unburdening process for the exiles is nursing the exiled parts back to health. And this is where they need to get closer and closer to it in order to let it go. So they actually do have to revisit those perceived traumatic events. The extreme parts are carrying this burden, which are the painful emotions or the negative beliefs that are taken on because of these harmful experiences in the past. Most of them are from your youth or childhood. And these burdens are not actually intrinsic to the part. Just like the burdens aren't for the managerial parts and the firefighter parts are not are not a necessary part of the part. The same goes with the exiles. If you unburden them, they don't just disappear. Now, actually, if you unburden them, then they become joyful. So you release and unburden the exiles and the other parts from their burdens, which allows them to assume their natural healthy roles in the self system. So the true self is the agent of this psychological healing.